comment that I think is incredibly creative and innovative. This is a plan that will serve well for many other districts in Massachusetts and certainly for districts around the country. So I'm going to be very brief, and I'm going to end my remarks by thanking the leadership in Lawrence, the entire community, the educators, the union officials, the elected officials, the families, the business community. I want to thank the department and specifically Jeff and Mitchell Chester for their work. There's a lot of hard work ahead. The board will be watching your progress and will be interested in making sure that you make your benchmarks. So here's to the work ahead, and let's celebrate a big day today. Thank you. Oh, no more applause for me. It is now my pleasure to introduce our commissioner, Mitchell Chester. Mitchell is not only a terrific leader in Massachusetts, but he's a renowned leader across the nation, so we're really lucky to have him. Mitchell.
Good morning. This is really an incredible occasion, an incredible milestone on this path that we've set down, that we've taken on, and I want to start by acknowledging kind of the aspirations of this community for its school district and the aspirations that are represented by community members who are on the stage here and community members who are in the audience here. Mr. Mayor, who I know cares deeply about the future of the city and about the school district and whether or not the school district is in fact doing the best that's possible by the students in that district. The city councilors who are here, I know we have school committee members here. I've talked to a couple of you. I know that we have a member of the Lawrence delegation to the legislature, Representative Adams. We have members of the clergy here. Senator Feingold would have been here. In fact, he prevailed on me last night in a phone call. Can't you move the time of this event, because he was unable to make it due to another commitment, so he would have been here if he could have been here. I also want to acknowledge some of the partners who are here, and you're going to hear more about this, but this is really a unique undertaking in my view. As the board chair of the State Board of Elementary and Secondary Education, Maura Banta, stated, it is not lightly that we take on a receivership of a school district. In the first place, this is the first time we've done this for other than fiscal reasons. And we've done this under the authority of a law that's only 2 years old. And so this is our first venture into receivership. Second of all, the State Board is very sensitive to local control and local mandate of the city's own school district. And we would not have taken this on if we didn't have the conviction that short of receivership, the likelihood of turning things around in the Lawrence School District were slim to none. And I don't say that lightly, and I don't say that to poke anybody in the eye. But we looked at a school district where, at best, about half of the students persist to graduation. A school district where even those who do make it to graduation, for many of them, they graduate with the kind of skills that are not going to serve them well, that have not prepared them well for what the world expects of a high school graduate, whether they choose to go on to higher education, whether they pursue a career. And we know that we can do better than that. We can do a lot better by the children of Lawrence than seeing half of them get through and less than half with a strong education. And we know that there are tremendous assets in the city of Lawrence. Faculty, teachers, administrators who work for the school district now, who are absolutely as strong as educators anywhere, who we need to rely on, who we need to count on for this effort. Is Frank McLaughlin with us today? Frank McLaughlin, president of the Lawrence Teachers Union. I've said to the membership, we need you. If you're committed, if you're dedicated, and if you're willing to think outside the box, because business as usual will not get this done. If you're willing to be part of a program of taking on the kinds of changes that are outlined in this plan, then we need you. We want you. We are not rejecting you. So I'm looking forward, Frank, to working with the unions, working with the employees of the school district to achieve success through this turnaround. The turnaround that you'll hear more about from Jeff in a minute really kind of turns some of the conventional thinking about school districts on its head. It talks about a system of schools rather than a school system. And in fact, we are looking for the schools of Lawrence to step up to the plate over the next year and tell us how they're going to incorporate more time. Time is an expectation in this plan. But we're asking each school to figure out, how do you get there? What's the design for this? This is not a top-down imposed one-size-fits-all. There are lots of ways to add more time to the learning year, and we're giving our schools, our educators, our administrators and teachers the opportunity to come forward with those plans. We are starting out with some partnerships beginning this fall that Jeff will tell you more about. Partnerships that will turn on its ear the traditional distinction between the charter school community and the traditional public school community. We've tended to have those communities in silos, and what this plan calls for are some robust partnerships with folks who currently are operating in the charter school sector, largely in the charter school sector, but asking them to be partners and having the commitment from them to be partners within the footprint of the school district, not as an autonomous body, but within the footprint of the school district with school employees. I am very excited about this. I'd say two things before bringing Jeff up. One is when I recommended to the State Board of Education the receivership pathway, I made it clear to the board that I see this as a long-term commitment. This is not about getting into Lawrence, about stabilizing things and getting out as quickly as we can. And I made that very clear, because at best, that would get us some incremental improvement. So I said we're in this for the long run. The kind of turnaround that's outlined in this plan, the kind of measurable improvement that we will expect beginning year one and continuing onward is not going to happen in 2 or 3 years. This is a 4, 5, 6 year proposition. I don't see us leaving until we have transformed Lawrence from a school district where strong academic achievement is the exception to one where it is the rule. That's our goal. We want all students to experience a strong education. Right now, only some are. Finally, a word about the man I'm going to bring up to the podium right now. I look very wide and very deep when looking for someone to lead the receivership of a Lawrence school district. And after a lot of thought, a lot of consideration of a number of options, a number of individuals, I landed on Jeff Riley, a young man who's had a tremendous impact on the schools that he's served in his career, largely in Boston, but in other places as well. And I have to tell you that after watching Jeff for the first few months on the ground here, we have made the right choice. We have in place a young man who is providing the leadership, is taking on the challenge that we've given to him. It's not an easy job, and he needs your support. He needs the support of the community, of the elected officials. He needs the support of the unions. Bottom line here is, are we going to turn things around for children? And Jeff Riley has made it clear that that's where his focus is. So I bring to the podium receiver Jeff Riley.
Today I'm releasing a turnaround plan for the Lawrence Public Schools. The turnaround plan raises expectations for all students and educators and maximizes the effective use of resources on interventions to improve academic achievement. Incorporating recommendations provided by a 14-member local stakeholder group, Our plan envisions the development of a system of high-performing neighborhood schools across this city. Since my appointment in late January, I have worked with a dedicated team from the Lawrence Public Schools to conduct an extensive assessment of our schools. It's clear that for too long, too many students in this district have not reached their full potential. With the input of teachers, students, parents, and other leaders in the community, as well as experts from the Commonwealth and across this country, we have developed a plan to take Lawrence from the lower rungs of educational performance to the highest. I want to be clear from the outset that this plan will not happen overnight. Yet its implementation must be done with a sense of urgency. This plan cannot be achieved without the support and commitment of all of us. Everybody, administrators, teachers, students, parents, community members, will have to pitch in, embrace change, and manage the sense of urgency with the patience needed to achieve long-lasting, long-term results. At the end of the day, this plan is about one thing: our children. While the plan in its entirety will be available online, I want to highlight the 6 key themes of the plan, starting with the idea, number 1, combining the best of Lawrence and the best of the Commonwealth. There are great things happening inside this city already. I'm pleased to announce Michael Walters will be taking over as headmaster of Lawrence High School. As we begin to consolidate our central office, I'm pleased to announce Anne Marie Stronach will be covering not only nutrition services, but also our HR department. Marquilles, a Lawrence High School graduate of '06, will be our Director of Student Engagement and Support. And Raymond Nunez will be our new basketball coach. These and other appointments will be forthcoming for people that are already inside the system that are doing great things. And we want to combine these folks with proven outside partners. The second key theme of this plan is more great schools for our kids. We're going to work towards great schools in every neighborhood and empower teachers and principals to get results. We don't expect or insist that schools meet the goals the same way, just that they meet the goals. Our third theme is around empowering teachers, principals, parents, and the community. We know that it takes everyone to move the needle and to get change. 4, using our resources wisely. The change that's going to happen in the Lawrence Public Schools must be budget neutral. It cannot require any extra resources beyond what is expected typically of a school system. 5, we've got to implement with a sense of urgency. The time to move is now. And finally, number 6, it's all about results. We need more great schools right now. While these 6 themes provide a broad direction for where we're going, I think it's important to highlight some key parts of the plan. What are the goals? In year 1, we want to double the number of schools closing the achievement gap. Currently, we do not have enough schools that are doing that. We're going to double the amount of schools that are closing the achievement gap. Within 3 years, we're going to move to within the top 5 of all gateway cities in Massachusetts. Currently, we're number 22. Within 3 years, we'll be within the top 5. And within 5 to 7 years, we plan to close the achievement gap completely with the state in English language arts and math. But how do we do this? Our vision is to move away from a command and control central bureaucracy to one that initially serves to facilitate and support change at the school level. As schools do improve and earn greater autonomies, we will then reduce the role of the central office, putting more resources, money, time into the schools. In short, we aim to move from an underperforming school system to a system of high-performing schools. This is a radical shift in school reform efforts nationwide, which historically have attempted a top-down fix. Can we build such great schools? Is this even possible? The fact is, we already have some in Lawrence. The Frost Middle School routinely gets great results for students and closes achievement gaps. In this very building at the South Lawrence East Elementary School, we see amazing things happening for our students. we see a team of parents, teachers, and a principal working together. And by doing so, they've been identified as a commendation school, meaning it's one of the best schools in the Commonwealth already. Congratulations. Thank you to the parents who are here today. But not all our schools are high performing. In fact, we have some that have been deemed as chronically underperforming or turnaround. And it is there that we're going to ask our partners to come in to help us. The community group led by Sheila Valboni, who's done extensive work in the neighborhoods of Lawrence, will be joining us. Unlocking Potential, a school turnaround organization, will be joining us. Phoenix Academy Lawrence, a college prep alternative high school, which works with students who are high risk, who drop out, or kids who don't fit their traditional high school model, will be joining us. Match Fellows, an intensive tutoring program, will be joining us. All of these folks, all of these providers will be joining us inside our neighborhood schools and working in a system which has teachers who are unionized teachers. This is a proud day for us, and we're excited about this opportunity. For the other schools in Lawrence, next year will be an intensive planning year. As the Commissioner said, we're going to require more time at every school. We believe that time, when used wisely, can get great results for kids. So we're going to give the other schools time to plan.